welcome to the Obsessed with Pickleball podcast. I'm Jane. I'm obsessed with pickleball, and I am so excited. I have Johnny 5.0 as my guest today, and he is one of the smartest people in pickleball, and like a
Stop.
true OG, like a true. Been watching for years. He actually had a podcast back in the day called Pickle Juice, which the real ones will know. It was a long time ago.
Oh
Um,
man, short-lived. What a quick burn that
what
was too.
happened? What happened? We should explain because
It's
no one knows what this is.
I don't know how many people actually know. It was
That's
really
what I'm saying.
strange. So
Maybe people will be bored by it because we don't know what you're talking about.
I
But it
know.
was
Well, there's still archives out there. So if they want to listen to there's a couple of podcasts with the Kawamotos. I mean, how
I
many
was gonna
podcasts have they been on? Right? It was like a couple of podcasts with the Kawamotos. We had like Anna Bright on there when she was just breaking in to the scene. JW Johnson was on there for one, so you never hear him on podcasts. Like that was fun. He actually got livened up quite a bit on that. That was a fun chat.
say. I had
But
one
we
with
had a
Dylan.
few of those.
I did the
Yeah.
one with Tyler with you.
Yep. I don't remember it so much. Do you know why? So I
That's when
don't.
I was like the Black Diamonds can't win with Megan and Etta because they can't play singles, and then I was wrong.
Oh, they played really well together.
I
They
was
had
wrong.
a crazy streak for a little
I was
while there together. They just meshed. But it's wild because everything to me back in that season. So this is ended 2022 and heading into 2023. There was only a handful of people that were like just chatting pickleball on social media and particularly on Twitter. I mean, back then before it was X, it was like you actually had a handful of the players that were on there and they'd put some thoughts. Otherwise, if you weren't at an event, like you had very little awareness of the world of pro pickleball unless you found someone on social media. So that was back in like Selkirk TV was huge. I was watching a ton of Selkirk TV out of the gates, and it's like not everything was on YouTube. They had the PPA stuff on YouTube, but particularly it was like between MLP and also a lot of the PPA events and even some of the APP events, it was just really good banter that would happen on X, or just like it was just building, it was just starting. So me and this guy Zook, we were two of the only people that were really posting. There was a handful of others like the Heyshays of the world and whatnot, right? So yep, and you were on there too. I know Zook connected with you on there early as well, but it was just so interesting because I was actually moving to Europe for a season. So it
wrong.
was right leaving from Florida, heading to Europe. So every single one of those calls, except for the first one with the Kawamotos, and then a couple of the last few that happened, back when I came back stateside, I spent all 6 months over in Europe. So I would wake up at like 1 or 2 a.m. local time to have a call with Zook at night. Like it was like Eastern time. It was like a decent evening hour, but it was like 2 in the morning. I was popping up out of bed in Norway. So there was a season in Norway and then in Albania for a few months. So yeah, I was like talking to like James Blake and Ryan Harwood, and I was trying to caffeinate, and I'm like, 2 in the morning, but having these fun like pickleball chats. So it was a fun burn. And then, like I said, some of that archive stuff's still there. So there's some really cool direct access to just asking like, origin story for a lot of these players, things that were happening at the time. So I'm sure some of it still holds up. Maybe not so much I know strategies changed a lot, just like even knowledge of the games changed so much. But then afterwards, so coming back to this would have been like February, March 2023. So right as the MLP season was starting, there was a big push from Ryan Harwood and Gary V's group, the 1:37 p.m. group, and they were going to basically acquire Pickle Juice. And that's what Zook let me know. I was like, that's awesome, very cool. We had just started out of the gates. And then when I got back to the States, I was hearing a little bit less of what was happening, but I was still included in all the calls. So I was meeting with them, like planning to go to the Daytona MLP event because I was going to be back in Florida. And so it was just kind of funny how just things were happening. And then went and it's the same event. So right after that MLP Mesa, that was like a very, very popular MLP event where it was just raucous, right? It was like full stands. Everyone was going crazy. Fast forward to Daytona was the next event. Also a great event. The Daytona, the Pictana like venue is kind of funny because it's got that covering. So every time they have that like MLP or PPA on Daytona, it gets really loud in there. It can get loud, maybe not as loud as Mesa, but it gets pretty loud. But that point that's always like the kitchen has circulating, that's probably what, like 10 million views or something crazy by now. It was
Oh, the
uh,
Anna Lee, Leia, the
Anna
fives.
Lee, Leia, yep, the fives, and then against Andrea Coop and Maggie.
And
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so it was like Maggie Brasha. That point was, so I was there for that and like those events. But then it was like last thing I talked to Ryan Harwood in person was like, yeah, we're gonna get on a call. We're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be awesome. And then I wasn't really talking as much with Zook, but we were still having regular calls. So we had a great call with Hayden and one of the 1:37 p.m. guys that was on staff, and then had a couple more. We had like a Etta and Megan call after they won gold at PPA, so they were on this hot streak. So there was some really cool stuff happening. Had a great Alex Trong call. Same with like Tyra Black. Like it was some of these really powerful stories. Of hearing them like really breaking through the scene and like really like seeing what they're who they were, and then it just kind of fizzled. Like it just stopped. They were still posting a lot of like quirky, just like really social media engagement stuff on that channel for a while, and then they stopped. So maybe it'll get revived one day. Who knows? Like you'd be a great person to, pop on there, just talk about pickleball culture and stuff. I feel like that was the vibe for a bit,
Yeah.
right? So like,
Oh, look at what
who knows? That
it's
could be a fun one.
yeah.
But
It was fun. I remember everything you're saying. Like I haven't thought about it, but like I remember all of that.
yeah,
When they bought it, I remember all of that. So funny. Like so many blasts in the past. I'm like, I remember that happened. I remember when that happened. It's so crazy. I still have these moments where I'll be like watching something and I'll have a memory of like that player that used to play with that player. And I'm like, I have been watching these people for 5 years. Like that's so
yeah.
weird. It's so
It is
weird.
weird. Well, it's weird seeing now like the player arcs, right? Because we're starting to see players like actually like exiting the sport, like,
It's
retiring from the sport. Like,
no.
I think I saw recently, like, I don't know if it was really announced anywhere, but like Todd Fote, like, he's kind of come and gone now.
Oh,
And I heard,
they saw it. They said it on Instagram. It was in a comment. It wasn't even in.
yeah,
It was like have fun. I mean, I think, I think we're going to see a lot of people retiring in the next year, just
yeah.
because with the contract negotiations, if you're not winning prize money, then like what's the point with all these new young people coming in who are fighting for like chances to be on an MLP team?
Oh, yeah.
So
No, I agree. And it's interesting too, because it's almost like a whole, generation of new
yeah,
talent has come in, since that beginning. It's funny because like seeing, Jay DeVilliers and Jesse Irvin like playing
oh,
recently together, right? Like that's like all of a sudden you're like, what year is it? And you start
yeah,
remembering all these different, matches with them in it and stuff like that. So, it's crazy. I had taken a short hiatus from just watching everything. Ended 2023. My youngest daughter was born and had a lot of difficulty after birth. So it was like we had, it was just a good time to just take a break. I mean, it was only maybe a few months after that I was like, all right, let me check on, see what's happening, and then of course just still like actually making friendships like in the sport, right? You're rooting for people that you've connected with and you're seeing all these different people playing. And so it's like, how do you not want to see it continue to do well? And it's still like fun. I think the people that kind of saw pickleball as like a money opportunity, like they've kind of come and gone, like a bunch of those people have. Um, and I think there's some people that are still doing like great content and making a lot of good stuff, but I really think it's the people that just love the sport genuinely and see like the goodness of it, right? Like they're the ones that are hanging around. So yeah, hard to quit it because
hard
yeah,
to
it just
quit it.
ropes you back in.
Sometimes I'm like, sometimes stuff will happen like in the league where I'm like, that just feels gross. Like it's becoming like too much of other sports I watch that I just have to kind of like, I know it's bad, right? Like I can't even think about the NFL. I just have to be like, oh, it's great because I love my Ravens. But then I'll hear like, I
Okay.
just know it's so corrupt, right? But I'm like, I don't even know about that. Then something will happen in the PPA, and I'm like, I can't believe that happened. Blah blah blah. But then like, I can't not watch every weekend.
Yeah.
I can't, I don't know. But again, maybe it's
I will
just because
say
I'm
hot take. I will say hot take. I think a lot of the mainstream sports are way more, there's way more shenanigans happening behind the scenes in the mainstream sports these days. Like the more I watch the NBA, the more I watch the NFL,
that's what I'm saying. No,
sports
that's what I'm
betting,
saying.
all that.
I'm saying
Yeah.
like I'm
Okay.
saying PPA does something so mundane. Like like nothing. Like
Yeah.
they do nothing. They do the smallest thing that feels like a little bit wrong, and I'm like, I can't believe the PPA would dare cancel a contract. Like, oh,
Yeah.
of course, why wouldn't they? They can do it, whatever. But the point
Yeah.
is this: we have been watching pickleball for a long time,
Yeah.
and Major League Pickleball has had the most changes. And it has been an emotional roller coaster for fans, going from, the old days when they were all wearing matching shirts with different color sleeves to now. And I personally think that the way in the last couple years the rule changes have been a lot. But I think that they're coming into, like, I think it's all evening out to start to make sense. Like the structure, the no challenger, I don't really understand all the trade rules, but I think there's like people behind the scenes, like they want to. I think the objective actually truly is to weed out the teams and get to a point with some kind of talent equality, hoping that this new generation of players come, and maybe some other teams like they're like, yeah, we're out. You know what I mean? So that'll even out. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It is super interesting because I feel like when everything happened with the UPA and they really, I feel like they went back to the rules quite a bit and tried to like, hey, well, we're going to go with the season format, right? A lot of people were saying like to do it. Some people were saying not to. I think a lot of like just purists, like the people that like MLP, like in its original form, like, at first it took some adjusting. It's grown on me a little bit. It is hard because you have a lot of the haves and the haves nots. So I think to your point, I think you will see more of that parity because I just think, the teams that have maybe a little bit of the lower talent, like a lot of that talent is getting better, right? And I think some of the teams that had players that need to be, weeded out or shuffled around, get a little new scenery, like I think that is going to naturally happen. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, when the sport is at its most fun is when these heavyweight teams are playing, when it's these weird, compelling matchups, right? You have these stacked like women's lineups that are going, you know, 17 to 18 deep in a match in like Dallas, right? With this like a stadium capacity. Like that to me is, I think they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle as best they can. But to your point, like exactly that. Like I think the rules just continue to be refined, continue to be adjusted. And I think, teams are maybe getting a little savvier, I would hope, at this point, right? A few years in with just talent acquisition. You see people like, I'll say he's my buddy because we do text, but Eric Tice he got picked up by California Black Bears, right? So as GM, that's fun, right? Because him and I think the last couple of years we'll text occasionally about just moves that are happening, rumblings that we're hearing, just banter happening between GMs, right? And just hearing stuff like that. But now I think you fast forward and it's like, okay, like people are trying to take this seriously because they do see it as a business. They are seeing these teams as opportunities to earn, and it's the teams that are performing that get the notoriety, right? They're the ones that are getting those extra like slots on CBS Sports, ESPN, all that. So I think teams are getting a little savvier with how they pick up players and evaluate talent.
Yeah, I like I'm fine with the team format in terms of like the back-to-back MLP. I just think PPA can get boring.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching, Annalie win triple crowns week after week after week, I need the MLP to break it up a little bit. That was
Yeah.
my thing about the seasons, but that's a whole nother issue. That's a PPA issue. That I'm actually like, I think that Annalie is such a star. Like her camera presence, her social media, everything she does, I get it. I get why they want to put her out there. Like people will be drawn to the sport because she is just so good and she's so likable. Like she's very good. But for the people who watch a lot, it's so boring. Like it's so boring. I can't. Like I always say it,
You
like I
know,
can't root for her. I can't
it
cheer
is
for her.
so interesting, right? So we had a whole basically 2 years now where it was like, okay, not much is changing, not a lot of parity with PPA. But it's like every week now, it's getting harder and harder for me just personally not to root for her. Like, of course, I've always like, it's always fun to watch an underdog win, but now it's getting ridiculous, right? Like some of the numbers, like the consecutive win streaks, like the singles play, like it was, I think it is always compelling when you see her not in a singles run like this
Yeah.
past week at
Yeah, singles
Kickball.
is extra boring
Yeah,
with her.
that's just sheer dominance. But
She's just
now it's like, but you do have now mixed teams that are catching up. I actually do
yeah.
think, it's been interesting because I've posted a few things. I think Zane Navratil had a really good point, right? That you're at this like big four territory. I think it's really probably going to be closer to like a big five potentially, depending on how Andre and Tyra do together. That could be a big five team potentially. You still have Gabe and CP. I don't know if CP has enough like firepower still to like make that a potent team, but
I don't
there
think
is
Gabe
a lot of
out mixed yet.
yeah.
He's
He does need to gobble up court. I mean, I feel like he could play it very similar to Hayden. He just needs to continue to gobble up court, and
like a
yeah,
5-0 man mixed player, not in skill, but in strategy. Like if you are playing with like a high level man, he will be all over the court and then
he's just going all over. Yeah,
out of nowhere, yours. And you're like, how is that one mine? Like,
yeah.
and then, so it's like super aggressive, one point, and then the other point not. And so I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll figure it out. We'll see. I don't know if CP still has it, but I think Gabe should. He needs to be, if they're going to win, he needs to be as good as Christian. Like,
Yeah.
that's just, he needs to be as good as Hayden. If he can't be as good as Hayden, then he's not going to win because CP's not going to be better than Anna. So he's got to do it.
I think that's fair to say. And I
Or,
think, but
or what woman does he play with? What woman does he play with? That's
yeah,
better than Catherine.
I don't
Now,
know. That's the thing. I think there's going to be a little musical chairs there for, it was really that Will Howell's injury, right? That was so strange because just even hearing that he was kind of locked in with Rachel, I was like, okay, if they make a deep run, I know that Masters draw was just super deep, right? So I was not sold on them making it all the way to the end, right? They didn't. And then also like the injury, like it's all kind of compounded. So I feel
did you
like for
watch
them to lose,
the Fed Kate Fahey Rachel Will match?
yeah.
Okay, well, like in the nicest way, like Will was the worst person on that court.
But I also think people undervalue. Yeah, well, Rachel's good.
Rachel's so good.
Fed, I feel like to his credit, like he's kind of just been a Swiss Army knife in pickleball here for the last few years. It's like he hasn't quite like where Hayden kind of passed him up. I feel like in doubles and like just in terms of just overall skill, like who's going to be dominant on the left side. Fed's even taken a little bit more of that right side role here in the last year, I think, in men's doubles. But I think he's very capable. Like if he's on it, he's on it like in mixed. And then I also felt like Kate's been undervalued, like just in terms of mixed
Yeah.
capability the last year and a half. She played really well in MLP in 2025. And so even with Gabe, like, right, like that was a team that it was hard to get points off them, even on like if a top lineup went against them, they were still really holding their own and sometimes winning some of those matches. So, but
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, I think Will is going to get more reps against these players, right? He's probably had the least amount of like playing against these players because he spent all that time on APP. So we'll see. But I mean, Rachel now playing with Christian, like Christian's kind of like, is he ready to take that leap? Like, is he ready to be like a championship Sunday guy that's in there every week? Like, I don't know. Like
I think that he has potential to be the best mixed player. He needs to kind of get more patient and smarter, but he doesn't have Anna Lee. So, and I agree. I don't think Kate was underrated. I think she just got better more quickly than people could keep up with. But I do think
sure.
she got really, really good at the very end of the year in terms of her consistency. But this year, I think she's going to be amazing. I'm kind of like all on the Kate Fahey train. Okay, let's talk
My kids were, yeah, we can switch to MLP. I was just going to say my kids were super enamored. She was really sweet to them. They did a kids clinic at the
Oh,
Cape. So my two oldest girls got to get some lessons from her and Brooke Buckner, and they were just super pumped. So they saw her play courtside against Jeannie. Unfortunately, she lost to Jeannie, which that's a whole nother topic for another day. But all that to say, my kids are Team Kate.
I love that. So cute. Okay, MLP. So lots of drops. Well, what were you most surprised about?
So, most surprised, I would say definitely the Georgia drop, I think, is weird. Like, I think that's hard to
The
justify and
Anna drop.
reconcile.
Anna talked about how she was the. Here's the thing about the Anna drop. Hayden and Gabe don't lose.
Yeah.
So you don't want to break up that winning team. But when you drop Georgia, you are breaking up two winning teams. I what are your thoughts? Do they have a secret plan or are they dumb? Sorry, Flash.
It's
You're one of your
well,
biggest fans.
and right. So let's say this: there is such a thing as being too cute, right? Like
Right.
an obvious choice, right? Like that's staring you in the face. Like maybe that's harder to make, especially when you have Julie Johnson kind of like doing the coaching and all that, right? Like who knows? I don't really know, right? Like I don't think many of us will really find out what exactly is going on, but I definitely think the playoff decision last year, right, was too cute. You didn't have to overthink it. Just pick a low seed, right? Don't pick a seed just to say, oh, well, we're going to beat them because it's a grudge match. Like, no, just take the obvious choice, play the odds. And I think in this case, it's odd because right, so who I will say this about Major League Pickleball as well. It was very apparent last year when Phoenix made all those moves, right? Jeannie got drafted by the Fives. There was a backdoor deal in play before, right? That trade window was official. So moves are already happening. There's probably, at least according to what I'm hearing, at least 3 to 5 moves already in play like that are going to happen once it becomes official. So to me, there is a chance they could have already like made some type of agreement. They're trading back to another team. Like, I don't know. So maybe it'll be a little bit more apparent when that happens. I know even their social media, right? They're posting like a little bit of
Yeah,
banter about
they,
it. Like, oh,
they memed, tweeted me, have patience. And I'm like,
okay,
okay, I'm trying to even, usually I can theorize. I don't know if I'm usually right when I theorize. Like, I can't even figure it out because why wouldn't another team just like pay so much money for her? So we'll
you
see.
should.
It's
Well,
just,
and even let's talk about the Fives, right? So, and I think a few people have made this point now. The Fives have literally the best possible scenario because if they just go for broke, right, and they planned ahead, they're like, hey, we're going to drop both the women. We don't need to keep them on the roster, pay extra money. We're going to go for broke to get another woman to play alongside Anna Lee. And now they have the potential, like even if they fall down to Megan, maybe that's the third pick, and they bring Megan back. Like they still had a potential of winning the league last year. There was a chance of that, but now like you really could really go for broke, even if it's just price enforcing. So I was texting someone about this week too. It's like even if you're not solid or sold on getting Anna Bright and paying whatever money she's going to garner, price enforce, like make the other teams pay more, right? Like at the end of the day, like if it's like a bidding process, like make them put their money where their mouth is to get that player back. And New Jersey has a history of doing that in drafts where they've put money in. They did that with Leia last year. So memory serves, like Leia was on the board, they were bidding, but Columbus bid higher, so they price enforced Leia knowing that they were likely getting someone else. They ended up getting Jeannie. So they have a history of that. They're pretty strategic. So ultimately, yeah, price enforce the heck out of Anna Bright and then really go for broke with like, can Dallas keep up with the funds? Like, is like Gary and Ryan, are they willing to like really splash
right,
cash
how much
for
money are
Georgia?
people going to do? The thing is
This,
with the Fives is like getting her would be insane. Insane.
yeah.
It'd be
And
insane.
it was kind of refreshing to see those two play together in Daytona for the PPA, right? Like to me, like that was a fun, like it was a little scary too. It was like, ooh, like that was a little too easy for them, at least getting through. And it was also, I think it was Zane. Zane has really good memes. I feel like we're sometimes on similar wavelengths, and maybe I remember key moments in pickleball with memes. Like that is probably the best way to just go back historically. It's like I can picture the meme and the scenario, but like it was like the boyfriend meme where he's walking with the girlfriend, but he
Yeah,
turns
yeah,
around to
yeah,
look at the other girl walking by. He did that with like Anna Lee as the boyfriend, Anna Bride as the girlfriend, and she's turning around looking at Georgia. I was like, that is, again, when you have those matchups, if they just gel, and again,
I
this
think
was
we've
after there
all
was
been
a,
kind of wondering. It's always been
yeah,
kind of a question like, what if they played? Would they ever play? Because I mean, I think when she was having issues with Catherine, I didn't think Anna Bright was going to leave Rachel. So everyone was more speculating that Anna Lee might try to get Georgia. And
yeah.
then when it was Anna, I was like, oh, okay. So the Georgia thing is strange. The Anna Bright thing isn't out of left field because of Hayden and Gabe. Um, is there anything else that really struck you? I mean, what about the Brooklyn drop of Deckel?
Brooklyn drop of Deckel was interesting because like they've really tried to compete, right? Like just that franchise, even if it was DC, they've really tried to compete. They really could have competed last year. They just were like decimated
Did.
with injuries.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
do they pick up like an AJ Kohler on the cheap? Like, could they, like they had him kind of run with them for part of the season, and it just worked. I
But
don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
but it's like, yeah, Deckel was injured last year and they were they were still like a contender, and now he's not injured and you get rid of him. Exactly. Like I know they were and Rachel keeps getting better. So
Yeah.
that was a strange one for me because we'll see what they're going to do. Maybe they have someone else in mind. Maybe they want to pad their singles, but it was strange. How much does Riley cost to keep? Why wouldn't they just drop Riley?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, because yeah, it was really just they got cash for Deckel, right? So it was
Yeah, why not get
like, do
cash
they
for
need the
Riley?
cash? Like, yeah, I don't know. I felt like they invested quite a bit into Riley. I would have to look back and see what they were at, but they do have a core. I mean, I think it's going to be easier to build back with the men, right? Like if you're starting with roster spots of men that you need to fill right now, I really feel like that's going to be the easier way to build back. Because having Jackie and Rachel, like you're solid, and they did keep Hannah Blatt. So, maybe some of these teams you might see more like single specialists getting picked up once the rosters are filled out. Maybe that's how they approach the bench now is like, does Jeannie make a team as a single specialist? Like that's
I mean, I'm
possible,
just
right?
saying that the Palm Beach Royals should bid high for Jeannie. Like take Tina out of the singles and see what else what if
Boom.
maybe the Palm Beach Royals go for Deckel. Who's the guy they already picked up?
So they ended up with Deckel. So they have Sophia
They traded.
Seving, they have Tina Pisnik, and then they traded for Deckel. So really everything else is up in the air for them. But I think that's a great, like, what a great
They,
start. Like Sophia's, they feel like a contender. Like they're going to contend for playoffs.
I think so. I think so.
Here's a
A single specialist in women's would be necessary though. You
here's a
can't.
question I would ask you. Let's say all things are equal. What team would you rather be right now heading into the rest of this draft
The
period?
Fives.
Would you, well, I'm going to give you two though. I'm going to give you two. I'm going to narrow it down to two. Who would you rather be? Palm Beach Royals or Texas Rangers right now?
Okay, so the Texas Ranchers have Christian and they have Eric Onsens. So I really thought the Ranchers were going to go hard for Tyra because Tyra and Christian play well together. So now I'm the Ranchers. We need some inside scoop about what the Ranchers want to do with this money. Do they bid big for Anna Bright? Do they bid big for Georgia? Because now you have Anna Bright, Christian, and Eric Onsens. That's an
Can they
insane.
bid big?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
We need bank account information. We need the
Yeah.
financials. We need everyone to send it to me. You can DM it straight to me. I need everyone's cash flow numbers.
Well,
But
and to predict future behavior, right? Were they big spenders before? They were a little. I wouldn't say they were big spenders. They were willing to risk, certain trades, right? Like the way
yeah,
they got Eric, they traded Noe. Like there was some moves that happened. So I would say they do have like I think they have Lane Sleeth, but I think there was like a trade that needs to
I
be
think
completed after the
Lane
window.
went to no. Oh, you're right. She might still be on there. I don't know. What's the point of, first of all, do you think there's ever going to be a time in Major League Pickleball where we have some kind of caps of how much you can invest? Because at this point, it's just getting, I mean, it just depends on how much you want to spend.
It's kind of play money right now, right? Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I also feel like some of the teams kind of have probably understood like numbers that they want to get to, and maybe they don't overtly tell each other, "Oh, I'm going in with a $500,000 budget for this set of players," right? Maybe they're not saying that, but I think we'll probably see more conservative teams. Like I think last year teams just very willingly spent money up front on
Absolutely.
the draft.
If you're not going to spend the money, then do you even have a chance of
It
winning?
really should only it really should only be like a couple of teams spending high money. And it really at the end of the day, like maybe there's 3 or 4 teams that are really bidding big on those really top 2 elite female talents. And then everything else just, big steep drop, right? Like I really feel like because thinking about just like replacement value of some of these guys, like, our team's willing to, take a
Yeah,
bit more of a flyer.
Brooklyn's options. Dylan Frazier?
I
Like
mean, would they pick a Tyson? Like Tyson's available. I don't think he's going to be
Riley?
expensive.
Okay, Tyson and Riley. Now that would be a blast from
Throw
the
it
past.
back old
Oh,
school,
please,
right?
actually, Brooklyn, please pick Tyson. That would make me so happy.
That was, I
So
think, my
happy.
first Selkirk hat was like their electric green. They had like an electric orange when those two were playing both for Selkirk. It
Oh,
was
that was
like,
so long ago that Riley was playing with Selkirk. That's crazy.
it seems like a lifetime ago. But like, that's the thing is like, can you be conservative and still like compete? And I think that's what a handful of these teams are starting to figure out. It's like, okay, maybe we don't need to break the bank because, also as the season went on, like even just in free agency, Brooklyn was able to have a very competitive team just with like free
Yeah, maybe
agent
it's
pickups.
like, yeah, maybe it's like you see who develops this year. And then the Flames got rid of everyone except Jesse. Do they want to compete or are they just there for a good time?
I think that's the question. Probably still there for a good time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I feel like they spent big money last year to do what they did, but now they're not on the hook anymore. So,
And then the
what?
bouncers now have Jay, Jaume, and Kaylin Christian. Yeah, Kaylin Christian.
Yep. And
Do
it
we think they
sounds
can
so good
compete?
on paper. I actually really like it on paper because I do think JD is back to like pre-injury JD. Like he's had some really solid runs, had some solid singles runs,
Single
especially.
runs too, yeah.
Yeah. So like, why not? Like I love like the value of JD. You know what you're gonna get. Like he's not gonna be anything. Like he's not gonna totally win you the league, but he's not gonna lose the league, right? Like you are getting a quality, just like boom. He's kind of a bedrock. It's Yaume is the question mark now, right? Are you
Yeah,
getting like
so cute.
motivated Yaume, or are you getting unmotivated Yaume? Like it's wild to see. I think early last year he seemed like someone that would really be on the cusp of breaking through like medal rounds every week in men's doubles, especially.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was Cape Coral last year. I got to call a few in the matches in 2025 when I was like in town and I was doing quarterfinals. And he had a great run with Augie Ga last year.
I
He had a
remember.
couple of tournaments in a row where they were making solid like medal round runs. I was like, damn, like he's like quality,
He
and he
has
was still
talent.
getting his singles. Like
Yeah.
he was a double, like a double medal threat, like a double crown, like threat. But then it kind of tapered off, like really as the year went on. Like the MLP team like struggled. He was like checked out, like so who knows what's going on in his world and his personal life and everything else. Like even I thought it was like it actually was a bit gut wrenching seeing him lose to Zane Ford this week. Right, they had some 6-0 beef in the past. Like I think it was last year at Cape they had some beef or whatever it was, and so to see like him lose that, like it was like, man, that's a player he probably shouldn't have been losing to. Take nothing away from Zane Ford. I think that guy is kind of pesky in singles. It's kind of funny, but
Yeah,
like,
he's like
yeah, I don't know.
unexpected. It's untraditional.
You want to think he's gonna do like poorly, he's gonna crash out, but he's like he does his thing, he wins his way. But yeah, Atlanta, like who do we get? Do we get motivated Yaume? Do we get unmotivated Yaume? So hopefully motivated Yaume. It's better when there's more teams competing. So could they get a quality right side female there? I think they can.
Okay, so just quickly a couple more things. Two things. One, Leia Jansen's drop, surprising.
I do think it's surprising. So I was actually going to look up. I sent someone a text on this because I was like, you got to get some dirt while you're at MLP Mesa. So I was texting someone. I just want to see what, because I was thinking two things, right? One, is it something like that? You know what they would have done? Like, are they like renegotiating because they didn't have to drop, but can they get Leia back at a better rate if they're like, oh, it's nothing personal? It's like we're going to get you back at a better rate. Maybe it's that. Maybe they are going to bid for one of the top two players. Like, I think that would be really fun.
Be one of them. I wonder if some of these teams made plans thinking Tyra was going to be available. Because
Yeah.
Tyra on the sliders is an unbeatable team with Paris and with CJ,
Oh
right?
yeah, playing alongside CJ. I think you
That's
posted that earlier tonight, right? Like that seems like a perfect puzzle fit
but
for
now
that team.
Tyra's not available. So yeah, maybe they're trying to get her back. I mean, Leia's an asset for any team as your second female because of her singles, and she's solid and she's fired up. She's an asset for the fives if they decide to go with her. She's an asset for any of these teams. I actually really think that Leia is a bigger asset in MLP than she is at PPA. And then okay, so let's take out the fives. And let's take out the shock and the flash because we're going to assume that they're getting their girls back. Okay. The rest is all kind of like there's a lot of question marks and emptiness. Actually, I want to take out the sliders too. I'm taking out those four. What team is going to surprise us this year?
I'm gonna look back. I'm just like cycling through the rosters a little bit.
Who is Brooklyn going to get? Because I think Brooklyn could have won it all last year. Who are they going to get to do Decal? The Palm Beach Royals. Is someone going to pick up Jack Sock? And is he going to have a year?
I don't.
Is Jack
I
Sock
would
going to
say is I would say it's less likely than likely. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think LA. I think LA is probably that team.
Oh
Like if you're
yeah,
looking for a dark horse, like I think LA was the dark horse last year. I
Freeman.
really
I'm not into it. I'm not into that
I
trade.
am. I think he gets
He hasn't been
what a
performing.
it's not all on him, right? So here, let's talk about this a little bit too, because I feel like one, he's had some crazy draws. Like I look every week specifically because Max. So I've been keeping an eye on him. We've actually talked about a few things, like maybe some events happening in Cape Coral, like just like coaching or clinics and stuff like that. But it's so interesting because I've watched Max like when he's playing, and it's like he has all the tools to be there. I think there's been some speculation on like, can he really get over the hump? But I think if you take everything away, they start gelling out of the gates, him and Ben. So that's
Ben
all it
likes
really takes, right?
him.
I think
Ben's a
Ben
fan.
likes him a lot. Like just and to be able to play with a quality, competent lefty that can still allow Ben to play his way, but then can like cover. What I will say, like the flashes of brilliance were there from like Minnesota a few weeks back, right? They had that game. I think they had gotten like pickled. Was it JW and CJ they were playing? I forget who they were playing. No, they were playing Federico and CJ, I think. So it was Tyson and Max, and they got like pickled the first game, but then they came back like and actually had some grit in that second game, and it looked like they were going to take the third game. So I forget. I think they ended up losing a close one in the third one. Now that I'm thinking of it, but they still had like the wherewithal to really push that to be competitive. And I feel like if Max was not capable, like okay, maybe they would have floundered in that second one. And I think they've had some really brutal, like Max has had some brutal draws in all of the events here the last 2 weeks. So I think he's in
But
that really difficult seed range.
last year, he and James should have been a good team.
James wasn't James of old though, too. Like I can't put that all on Max. Like I feel like Max is at
I don't
that
put it
point
all
of
on
like
Max. I
breaking
don't put it
through.
all on Max. I don't put it
Yeah.
all on Max. And I think he's an equal with Hunter. I think Hunter brought
Yeah.
singles, but he could not play with Ben. So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I'm a Mad Drops fan. Like
Yeah.
LA, let's go. That's
Hunter was visibly it was you could visibly see the discomfort at the end of those like that end of that season with those two. Like it just didn't feel right. Like the vibe was way off. But
Hunter was no
I
matter what. That was not surprising.
yeah. Yeah. But I think I'm really optimistic. I think at least with the women's team, right? So if you have Jaden CP, and even if CP plays, because now you've got a funny kind of lefty.
Play with Max.
She could play with Max, right?
She can't
So
play terrible together.
I like the fact that that team has multiple lefties like in different lineups because that's a different look, right? So you think about the teams you're playing with, like I think it's just going to be a pesky look, and I think that they're going to be a hard out every time they play. And I do think Max is very capable in singles as
It
well.
is
So all
helpful for Catherine to play with a lefty both times because she can
yeah,
stay on her side. And I do think Catherine is good on the left, but isn't great at covering middle. So she needs a lefty in the middle. So I do actually think that's
Jade
great.
covers middle pretty well. Yeah, and I was going to say
Jade covers
Jade.
middle. Both of the Kawamotos cover middle.
But I think even Jackie would say she defers to Jade to cover. Like I think that's what Jackie would say. Yeah. So I think she really likes when Jade covers middle. So I don't know. I think that's the pesky dark horse team that's already kind of formed. So like, do you like how would you even improve
Yeah,
that
no,
team right now?
I
Like,
agree
would
with
you?
you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like thinking about it, there's nobody right now. The other teams who have good players, their roster is not full enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's willing to spend money. Like that's the thing that we have to figure out. Are the Ranchers willing to spend money? Are the Flames going to spend money? Are the Palm Beach Royals going to spend more money? Like we don't know. The Bouncers.
How about Utah?
Money on a girl.
I think it's
Getting,
worth talking about Utah.
You're right. We should talk. We should talk about it really fast. Dropping Tyler with Etta, Connor and Elise had a tough loss today to Augie and Mari. But they are a good team. They need to get a really good man. Who are they going to get?
I feel like they really like youth. I feel like just I don't know whatever they've done in terms of like the last couple of seasons. Like they've tried drafting like these youth players to the bench. I think in hopes to develop, save money, and see what plays out. So like that would be a team I could see take a flyer on like Tama Shimba. I'm going to tongue twist every team
Yes,
single
I
time.
was thinking the
Shimba
same thing.
Bukaru. Right? Like could they do something like that and see I don't know, but it also depends on if they're keeping Etta or not, right? And then for the female side, like I would think they'd want a young single specialist female talent as well, like someone that's able to come in for Etta, play some singles, like at least get some pesky points, right? Like she'll just at least always funny in Dreambreaker.
A single specialist for sure. I mean, Jeannie's valuable. One of these teams got to pick up Jeannie ASAP. Okay,
I would think so.
We're gonna wrap it up. This was so fun and interesting. I want to do it again once we see some of these teams come together.
No doubt.
Get these trades that you're alluding to that I wish I had insider knowledge on. Maybe you can text me some of them.
That's all I know up to this point. I know there's moves that will happen.
You're like, I know
that's all I know.
that there's stuff I don't know. Great, we're on the same page. I know there's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, tell everyone where to follow you.
Oh man, it's going to always be at Johnny 5.0. So I'm on Instagram. I'm on really it's X. Like that's where I'm posting the most. I love to post memes. I love to try and make people laugh on there. I'll post some insights. I'll post some clips of the matches that are compelling. Right, like that's the fun. That's the free time. That's the beauty of it. It's fun to banter with people on there. So banter with Klaus on there. Like, I've been bantering with Klaus. Actually, got to say, I've been talking with Klaus a lot the last few months. And so we've had some fun. We have to, before we hang up, Jane, we have to just acknowledge the MLP pick'em that we were in last year. What was your experience like? How did you like that?
Well, I was like in first place for a while, or I was second place for a while.
You were up there.
Really, really, really good. And then I made some interesting choices and really, really, really blew it at a tournament, and I could never get back up.
I remember you had a really bad week.
It got too
obvious. You had one really bad week.
I had a really bad week, and then after that, everyone's guessing the same one. Like, there's too much data, so there's no like big shockers that I can pick. So I was so close yet so far. Hopefully, we'll do another one this year.
I would hope so. I really hope we do. I dug myself a hole early, but then I chipped away. I was like, all right, I'm not going to panic. I feel like this is just a lot in life. Like, I feel like, if things are crazy, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to do what I know I can do. Just going to chip away. And it was like each week I was like, all right, got like moved up a little bit, moved up a little bit, moved up a little bit, and then finally I had a real shot to win the whole dang thing. It was like Boss was running the table, like he was first like all season, like wire to wire, and then it was Klaus, and then it was me, and like some form of fashion it was going to end up like there was a couple others just behind. I think like Chris Callie was like right there too. And then for whatever, there was one Columbus match that I think if I had picked that or like didn't pick that, like there was something like some permeation where yeah, like I ended up picking like the same thing as someone else, and so I ended up with third. But I will say I'll take a medal after literally digging myself a
That was a
ditch
long
at the beginning.
season.
It
That was
was
a
a long
long
season,
and a lot of work.
but it was
Um,
fun. It made you really pay attention and
it added a
like
little something for
kept
sure.
it fun. Kept it fun
Yeah.
because there were some really slow
Boring.
like MLP weeks and
I'm
games, like
hoping
a
we're
couple
getting
early
away
ones.
from that. I'm hoping we're gonna at least have like a glimmer of hope when certain team, like a glimmer of hope for maybe not the
Yeah.
top three, but everyone else that it could go either way. At least games, at least something. I
Yeah.
think we're
And I
getting
think
there.
some players, I think last thing I'll say on that too is I think some players will start to see, especially with younger talent coming in, no spot is guaranteed. Like you're not guaranteed a roster spot anymore when you're, like second best, in your gender on your team. Like it's not a guarantee that you'll have a roster spot for some of these like mid-table teams and stuff. Like you have to kind of compete for
You
your
have to prove
spot,
yourself
right?
for sure.
So
Sure.
even if your team's not like fully in it, like try to get an upset. I just think players are going to go for it more. I think more of the like contract like style now on the like actual tour of like kill what you hunt or whatever, like however the expression is. Like I do like eat what you kill. Like that
Mhm.
is I feel like the mentality that we'll start to see more of. I would hope so. And then like I think some players that are less invested, they move on. They go to pasture.
We're
Like they
gonna see
figure
some
something else
retirements
out.
by the end of the year. We're definitely gonna see some retirements by the end of the year. I have some
Yeah.
people that I think might retire, but I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Oh, I was
Um,
gonna say, give me at least a couple.
no.
No, all right, we'll hold on to it. We'll hold on to it. There's a long season.
It's a long season. Okay, cool. So everyone follow me on Obsessive Pickleball, like
Yes,
this podcast. Um, I MLP's coming. It's the best time of year. It's the
it
most fun to
really
talk.
is.
Hopefully, talk to you soon. I have Maggie or Mincy coming on, so we should all be on
Let's
together.
go.
Oh,
Oh man, Maggie is the best.
she's so smart.
Maggie's
She's so smart.
awesome and she's sweet. She's super kind to my family, and we had a lot of fun chats for on previous MLP seasons just on Twitter and stuff. So we still keep posted. She should be a GM. I like MLP teams. If anyone listens to this at some point, like she could easily be a GM. I texted her when Palm Beach was hiring, and so I think she connected with them at one point. It didn't quite work out. They were looking for
I
someone
think
in Florida, I think.
I mean, that makes sense.
Um,
No, don't.
so
We
yeah,
can look at it later.
yeah, you can look it up.
Well, I want to talk to Maggie. Let's do a combo. That'll be really good, and hopefully, some more stuff will have happened, so we can have
Yes,
some answers and chat about it.
love it.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me on, Jane. This was fun. It's
Time,
been too
literally.
long.
Be like, do you want to record today? And I'll be like, give me five minutes. I'll be there.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll
I'll talk
take you
to
up
you
on that.
later. Bye,
Catch you
guys. Thank
later.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.